Hello everyone, and welcome back to the laboratory.
Kitty Quest Children's Museum!
Love of learning starts here. What we're doing today is we're going to be experimenting with wind. And so the one most important thing you're going to need for this experiment is a fan. I have one that I can bend to point straight up into the air, and that would be really useful. But if you don't have that, there's ways that you can just tip it on its side or do things to get that same effect. We want to try and have things blowing upwards for this experiment. The other things you're going to need are just other materials that you might have around your house. I have some construction paper, coffee filters, paper cups. Try any other kind of paper items that you might have around. I also grabbed some feathers, some pipe cleaners, if you have pom-poms. Just try grabbing a lot of different materials. Some might fly, some might not, but that's part of the fun, is that we get to figure out which ones will and which won't. So let's get started and experiment and play with our fan. So I'm going to turn this on. Always be careful plugging things in and taking things out. And be careful of some fans, they might have larger holes that can be more dangerous with things falling into them. But mine here, I have it currently on the highest power setting that I can, which might mean that it might be hard to hear me over the fan. But we're gonna see. I'm just gonna grab this coffee filter, because something I noticed about coffee filters is they're very light and I can move my hand much faster than it will fall. So I'm curious what's gonna happen when I put it on the fan. You ready? Let's find out. What's happening? What if I turn it the other way? Do you think it'll go higher? Whoa! Up here it comes. Finally fell back down. That one went really high. I want to try that again. Whoa! It's hard for me to let it go accurately here. Oh, there it flipped over. Well, that's fun. So that's a coffee filter. That's fun. I wonder, will a piece of paper do the same thing? Kind of. I mean, what about this cup? Will this cup fly? Oh, that cup didn't fly, did it? It just kind of fell down. What if I put it this way? Perfectly landed. Oh, I moved my hand and it ran away from me. Okay, let's try to have some of these leaves. These leaves are actually, they're silk leaves, so they're not real leaves, but they have about the same weight and shape as leaves. So let me try some of those. Let's see what happens. Woo! Some of these are going really high. I bet they're even going out of the camera view. Oh, falling back on me here. That's fun. What about, I got a couple feathers here. I got some, these are like craft feathers that you might get at a craft store. Let's see what those do. There's this big long feather. Will this one fly as well? Let's find out. Oh. Kind of. It almost wants to just spin right here. Do you think a pipe cleaner on its own will fly? A little bit. It doesn't seem to go very high, but it does want to go up above there. If I hold it loosely here, I might be able to get it to look like it's floating. Whoa. So those are all our materials separately, and that's a lot of fun. Just playing with materials and putting them in there. But we're going to try also seeing what we can build. What can we do to make something fly better than what it was? All right, so if you remember this cup, it just kind of fell and sat here, or maybe it would float about that high. I want to see if I can get it to float higher. to go higher than that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, and I got my pair of scissors that I had, and I'm going to cut a bunch of little cuts here. Trying to get them all about the same distance. Oh, that spot was really hard to cut. I'm gonna, after I cut a bunch, I'm going to fold them so that we can use it. So now I have all these cut and they kind of flops over like that. And I'm actually gonna take it and I'm gonna bend all of these cuts that I made down. So now it goes like that. So what did I change? It's still the same amount of stuff. It still weighs the same. Do you think it's gonna fly the same or fly a little bit different? Let's find out. I'm gonna turn on my fan again. Set it here. Whoa. I'm gonna set, let's see. It does seem to be pushing off the fan a little bit more than it did before. Oh, there it floated up a little ways. So that changed something. That it was seeming to float more. And that's because I gave it more surface area. So the air is going up like this, right? And it's hitting all these little things. And you can feel air hitting your hand even. And that's because it's pushing on you. Even though it looks like there's nothing there, air is made up of tiny little things called molecules and atoms. And those are being launched out of the fan and go up and hit things and push it up into the air. So that kind of worked. I want to try and do one more thing, and that is I'm going to take it and I'm going to bend each of these at the same angle. So I'm going to go through and do that for all of them. Just give it a little twist on each of these little bits so that they all angle a little bit. Okay, so now all of them look a little bit different, right? They're no longer going straight. I wonder if that's going to change it. I'm going to find out. What's happening? Do you notice anything? I'm noticing that when I let it go, it starts to spin. If I set it there in the center where the air isn't blowing as hard, it spins around a lot. Well, that's a lot of fun. Look at it go. Well, that's very cool. So that's a fun one that I did just by cutting a bunch of cuts and then giving it some twists. I wonder what else I could try. We have this paper, and I've seen a way that I can make a helicopter in the past. So I'm going to give that a try. The other thing I'm going to need for the helicopter is a paper clip. I also have a paper clip here. So I'm going to have that on the side because I'm going to need that. And we'll talk about why once I get there. And I'm going to take this piece of paper and I'm going to cut it about in a third because I don't need the same width of this paper. I just need a long, skinny strip like this. And I'm going to go on the top and cut a little ways down, about that far. Maybe just a touch further, about halfway. Like that. And then I'm going to leave some space here. I'm going to cut in like that and cut in on the other side without touching the two. So here, let me draw with my marker on it to show you where I cut on this piece of paper. Cut there, and cut there. Just like that, like a little T. So we made a cut here and a cut here. and here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to fold that down going that way, and this side down going this way. Like that, and we'll open it back up. There we go. So now that's part of our helicopter. Then I'm going to take this other side, and I'm going to fold where we cut it in on itself. So it's a little bit more tight, just like that. And then I'm going to take my paper clip that I grabbed, and I'm going to put it on the bottom to kind of hold everything together down there, like that. Let's see what happens when I turn on my fan and put it in there. Whoa! Ooh. It even seems to work better if I hold it a little higher above the fan. If I have it too close to the fan, then it doesn't seem to go quite as far. With this design, you probably don't even need the fan. You could probably do it with just going up maybe to a top of a set of stairs or something and dropping it down and watch it spin as it goes down. But here we got it spinning as it goes up, and then it continues to spin coming down. That's a lot of fun. Now, another thing we might want to think about is how we could carry something, right? Maybe you have something that's really heavy and you want to be able to lift it, like a parachute. And so what we're going to do, I think that I can take one of these pipe cleaners and take it and poke it through my coffee filter. Because remember, the coffee filter, just on its own, goes really high. And I'm going to poke it through and give it a little twist so that stays put, and do the same thing on the other side. And there we go. Now we kind of already have a parachute. Now I wasn't very careful when I set it on, so I don't know how it'll work, so I'm going to test it. Well, I got it to go very high, but I'm still noticing it comes down upside down. So maybe I just need to attach something to carry it. So I'm going to use the same paper clip as an attachment point. I'm going to just slide that into that, clip it on if I can. Wow. Clip it on like that, and now there's a little hook for me to put something on. So if I have something else I want to move, I got this spoon. This might be really heavy, and I don't know if this will work, but we're going to give it a try anyway. So now I got a spoon, and we're going to see if we can lift it. I don't know if I can. We'll find out. I don't think I can lift the spoon. Nope, can't lift the spoon. What else can I grab? Oh, I have a plastic spoon that also has a hole in it. This one's a lot lighter. Let's see if that works. Look at that! I was able to lift up the spoon. That's a lot of weight to be lifting with just the power of air. And I bet that if you went and tried to design something, you could design something that goes even higher than what I did. Because remember, I just put this together real quick. And this is just a start to what you could do. Think about what else you could do to design a parachute or a sail that can lift things even further than what I was doing. As always, we'd love to see the cool things that you make as well. So make sure you tag us with any cool things on social media, or just send us an email directly. Until next time, I'm Mr. Chris from Kids Quest Children's Museum, and you guys all keep exploring out there. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe for more videos, and remember to check out our website for additional activities and information.